Welcome back to Unpopular, kids. For right now, if you call for $59.99, you can get this Joven Pop.
Cool.
Yeah! Joven Pop is actually a soda that I would sell up in the Northeast.
It's just pee.
Yeah, and people loved it. Hi guys, welcome to Unpopular Kids. Thanks for coming back. Today we're talking Marvel Phase 3, and I have some professionals here and one Matt Robb.
Shots.
But first, to my left, I loved her so much I had to bring her back. We have Maude Garrett. Why, hello.
Hi, I heard we're talking Marvel, so I decided to get some bat tits.
You're kind of everyday cosplaying Black Canary right now.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I'll take that.
DC bounding.
You're
DC
bounding, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, we'll take it. And then the master of disguise himself, Mr. Matt Robb.
Master of disguise. I can do fat guy with a beard. I can also do slightly overweight guy with a beard. And I can definitely do
Kevin
not thin
Smith.
guy with a beard.
No,
For
Kevin Smith.
legal reasons, I can't have a restraining order.
And then to my right, hello, Flitz. How are you doing today, man?
Man, I am on cloud 9.
Normally,
Wait, where did you get Cloud9? Because my guy dried up.
Oh, I'll text you.
wait, is that where I've been storing all my nudes? Because I don't usually have access to that.
No, that's
Okay,
Cloud
good.
Nude.
And then our guest for the week, we have filmmaker, director, documentary guy, John Schneck.
I'm also a guy with a beard. Disguise.
All right.
It's a holiday.
Now,
When was the last time you guys saw your chins?
Wait,
like
are
a
you saying
19.
plural each or singular each of us?
I didn't say toes. I said.
Well, last time I saw his toes was last night. Last time I saw my chin was when I mistakenly shaved my entire face. See, women don't have to shave their faces. It's a weird
oh
thing.
no, we just have to shave our legs, our armpits.
You have to shave everything
You
else
don't
if
have
you
to.
want to.
Some have to
Yeah.
shave
You don't
theirs.
have to. Some
Yeah.
people like warm
I think
man
it was
squatches.
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
years?
was the last time I totally shaved.
I'm gonna see my chin soon.
Yeah?
No way.
Yeah, I'm gonna stash it up. I'm gonna stash it up.
Bam.
Yeah, it's somewhere there. It's somewhere. Just a fist comes out.
a very tiny fist.
Leave it alone. Leave my chin alone. Get out.
now to get us back on track, John, I see a DVD with you right there. What is that?
This
What
right
is
here,
that?
it's a little film called The Death of Superman Lives What Happened. It's a film that myself and Holly Payne and a couple other people who worked really hard on it for 3 years finished, and it's available. Go to tdoslwh.com. You can rent it, or you could buy this Blu-ray right here. And
You can buy this exact Blu-ray.
This exact
There's
one. It's signed, and there's only one available. This one, it was a lot of fun. It's about the Tim Burton, Nick Cage, Kevin Smith Superman movie called Superman Lives.
Now, we've
was
actually
almost
referenced this documentary on this show a few times. So now you can put
This is now
it's this one.
yours.
It's just his way of
it's mine.
saying he wanted the DVD.
Right
See,
here.
there it is. That's what it looks like.
At the end of the movie, look really closely because my name's in the credits. Because if you
I did this on purpose.
donated enough, you got to be in the
Oh
credits.
yeah,
of the movie.
my name's in the credits too. So suck
Is
it.
it?
Suck it. And probably doing there twice because I have Alias Eye.
Yeah, he's Jennifer Garner, had a TV show in the early 2000s. All right, guys, before we jump into Marvel Phase 3, of course, we've got some lightning round. A brand new lightning round. Look at that.
Wow.
Lightning sword.
You go, Flitz. You go. Yeah, I'm going to high five you. Boom, over the
Nice.
top.
He didn't
Nice.
make eye contact. That's impressive.
Lightning round. Guys, remember, we get lightning round questions from you guys. All you have to do is tweet or leave a comment below with the hashtag UnpopularKids and give us a question, and we will divvy them out to who we think can answer it best.
Or worse, really.
Or worse, yeah, sometimes. John, we're going to start with your first question here from @RikuKH17.
Bless you.
Yeah, thank you. Do you think Benedict Cumberbatch's performance in Doctor Strange will change the way we see the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
No, but I think his performance is going to be great, and it's going to be a different kind of Marvel film. I love the character Doctor Strange. I was a big fan of his when I was a kid growing up, reading all those comics. So after seeing that teaser trailer, it looks different. It looks exciting. I was wowed by it. I cannot wait till November. So I don't think it's going to change the Marvel universe.
I think
though.
it could split the Marvel fans. I think it's, this isn't my round.
But you can weigh in.
You can try.
Welcome to our
Go for
wacky
it.
world of lightning round.
Okay.
See what happens.
So I think we've had so many superhero movies now that it's a little bit formulaic. You know what you can expect. But when people who have kind of become at one with the mainstream superhero movies see this, they're like, I don't understand it.
You think it's gonna get an Ant-Manning?
So I think it could kind of split. No, because Ant-Man was kind of really safe and like.
Ant-Man was the opposite. Ant-Man was
it's
a color by number superhero.
I'm
movie.
excited because it's magic. I think it's
Do
the
you
perspective.
believe in magic?
Yeah, man, I live it.
I do.
But that's what I'm excited because it's really gonna.
Well,
change
we're going to be
perspectives
talking a lot more Doctor Strange
Yeah.
here in a few minutes, so I'm going to get you back on track here with another question. This time from @PokeMadness1996 for Flitz.
Hello.
That kind of rhymed. Should the animated Spider-Man be canon to the current Disney XD series or not canon at all?
Now this is the one that's going to be done.
This is like the new one.
Sony one.
Homecoming?
but it's Chris Miller, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who did Lego Movie, who did Clone High,
We'll
who
do
did
the Han Solo standalone.
Phil did the Han, they did 21 Jump Street. So I'm really curious.
I
what
think
your
it should
thoughts are.
I think it should be its own Spider-Man. Really,
Well,
I mean,
so
there's
we're
so many
having-
different stories to tell. I
How
don't
would you
think it
pitch
needs to be.
What would you do?
What was?
If the live action is going to be like Homecoming, serious, this is his Spider-Man coming out movie, what would you do for the animated movie? You get it. She gets it. You get it.
I
Well, when
get
does it come out in comparison to the
It's I
live
don't know,
action?
some random time. I don't know. I really hope because I'm such a fanboy for Miller and Lord. I really
Same.
hope that they
They're gonna
go
do great things.
so meta, and they even take like shattered dimensions, like something that's random.
Is it
and that,
still
and they're
Peter
like,
Parker though, or are they going to
Yeah.
go Miles Morales?
I
It
think
is
it's
still
Peter
Peter
Parker.
They're not
I
gonna
think
do
they should
Miles
do all of them.
Morales.
I think
Yeah.
they literally should be
They
shattered
just turn Shattered
dimensions.
Dimensions into a movie.
And it should be mocking. It should almost be Edge of the Spider-Verse, and it should be like them pulling all the different universes together and all the different Spider-Men, and just be like a total what the fuck, but it's just a perfect Spider-Man.
That is a
Like,
good
oh,
answer,
Spider-Man.
Flitz. That is a very good answer.
He
She
was
can break the
excited.
rules, so can I.
She is allowed.
Pretty like a
You,
girl.
sir, are not.
All right.
Shave that beard.
So, Flitz, should it be canon to the cartoon or should it be
No,
Matt Rob's answer?
I think it should be its own giant entity. I don't see the cartoon is already its own thing, you know, and I feel like it's well established. It's been going on long enough. I think it should be its own entity, as you know. Things seem to be wanting to reboot everything else anyway. Don't do an origin story and play in a Spider-Verse.
You just hate Nova. That's really what it comes down to.
No,
I'm siding with you. I don't want all the other stuff in there. I would just like, and since Miller and Lord are so funny and good at like characters, I think if they and not have it connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as well, just be its own thing.
Yeah.
I mean, DC's doing a great job because they already have their like crisis on. They have Earth A, H11. They have so many different Earths, and they've made it make sense by just allowing that one character, Flash, to like cut through and go visit the other Supergirl from
Flashes.
another
Right.
TV show or another universe.
Flash
yeah,
out.
and Flashes and stuff. So I think like that way you can have your Batman v Superman, and that's in like the dark, grim, gritty Earth of Earth 11 or whatever. And then the CW is another DC Earth, but Marvel's not really playing that. I guess I know that everything is
Yet.
connected. But yeah, now that there's been some kind of
But
Perlmutter
even in
Feige
Marvel-
rift,
even
we're hoping that
Marvel-
it can be separate.
You know, Marvel was known to have multiple universes. I guess I'm almost up to and through Secret Wars. But apparently what I thought happened doesn't even really fully happen, and are still multiverses
Right.
out there. So
But Marvel doesn't have as many Earths as DC. DC like prides itself with having different universes,
yeah.
different Earths.
One could even call them infinite.
Yeah.
That'd be a crisis.
Now we have a crisis. I believe a flashpoint is in order. Oh, God help me.
Next question. This one's for you, Mud,
Yay.
from @MKBello. Where do you think the Where do you think the Flash is heading, story-wise, and do you think it will do well for much longer? I had to double check the name
Ooh.
because normally we give Flash questions to Matt Rob.
Cool. Well, I think in this particular instance, Barry Allen or the Grant Gustin Barry Allen has only got like a little bit of time before Ezra Miller's Flash comes into play. So I think that they should really utilize what they have now. Because we've already had episodes where they've gone into a future or like another dimension and you can kind of see where it's supposed to go or where it should have gone. Are they going to continue this whole Iris Barry?
Dear
saga?
God, I hope not.
Neither do I. And they had Pat
Just
for a
learn how
second,
to
and I was
write
like,
a female character, WB.
so close, and then she went away because she was all butthurt because he was like, "Nah." So
That's
how
accurate.
much longer do I think this could go on for? Well, I do like that they're kind of opening up the other universe and, everyone's secondary character. I think that's a little bit more fascinating than what we have in Earth
Absolutely.
1. I think they've got about 2 more seasons before it will not really matter anymore because the DC movies will completely supersede what's happening in the TV shows.
That's
That
an
makes sense.
interesting
But
point.
I
She
will
hasn't
has-
seen Batman Superman yet.
No.
Right.
Good.
So she doesn't know how good that movie is.
She will change her mind after she sees that film.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it is only I'm not going to say CW is bad at all, but it's like they have a lot more flexibility and they can do more with it because it is a TV series. But I think if DC movies and Warner Brothers, wants to make a call, they're going to choose movies and be like, no, our call, trump card.
Way more
Yep.
money.
Drumpf card.
Jump. Next question. Matt Rob, we've made it to you from @Allison Lubick. What is the worst cartoon villain ever to be played by Tim Curry?
Oh man.
Maybe not even cartoon. I'm just going to say worst villain.
I think worst cartoon villain. I like that one because he's done a lot. of
Yeah, he has.
cartoons.
Do you
Yes.
just know his resume?
Yeah. So all right.
He
so
was
he's
Palpatine.
Pretty
he
impressive.
was Sidious.
Oh, he's Sidious.
Technically Sidious.
Oh, okay, sorry, my
I
bad.
know a lot about Star Wars. It's okay, Mon.
Same person.
What?
No way.
Spoilers.
I gotta go with Fern Gully.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
wow.
man.
Wow.
Right?
Was he the muck?
He was the muck. It was like
Wow.
Essex or Efrix or some Erix. I think it was Erax.
I think Gemblix was
Gemblix, yeah. Yeah, he played the personification of
Pollution.
Of pollution, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then
It was
Captain
great.
Planet came down and fought him.
Yeah. no,
I love
banged
Robert
him.
Williams as the Bat in that
Batty.
movie like a lot. Like they used and abused me, battered and bruised me plays in my head in his voice.
Really?
Yeah, like so much.
Because we
Red
use him and
wires,
abuse
green
him here.
wires stuck them
Yeah.
right through me. Like that, I don't know why that sticks in my head for no reason.
You're a bat.
Or I was experimented on.
Yep.
That makes a
I'd go with
lot
the
more
latter.
sense.
Yeah. Next question. Back to you, John. This one's from @Kathleen_Angel. Since a sequel for Deadpool got announced, what would you like to see in the next movie? A lot of good
Well,
stories
I'm
to
gonna
choose
go
from.
out on a limb. And I'd like to see Cable. Announce that. I would like to see. I'd like to see the beginning of X-Force.
Yeah, I'm
I
with
think
you.
you
I'm
like
with
they've
you.
already played around with having the X Mansion, maybe a couple of other X-Men in there. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Should they pull from X-Men Apocalypse cast and just kind of like unite those worlds?
Sure, why not?
There's so many mutants though.
Yeah, I mean it's
Make
hard,
some new ones.
but it's hard to tell what. I mean, the X-Men Apocalypse cast is right now in 1983 or 84.
Oh,
that's
that's
what
true.
that's where that world takes place, and I don't know what happens at the end, so it's hard to tell.
I would like to see Shatterstar. I would love to see
Yeah.
that.
Long shot and Mojo is what I'd like
So
to
good.
see.
How great
Oh,
would Mojo
man.
be?
Yeah, but I just don't know. Like they would
We're
be
ready for a
awesome, but
Mojo.
they like belong in their own movie. I hope they
Yeah.
cancel Gambit and just make a long shot movie.
That'd be great.
I think they're on their way to cancelling
That
Gambit.
would-
I've heard it was
close.
canceled. That's what I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, it's pretty close.
It's
Mojo
kind of
World,
canceled.
Long shot Mojo World is like
Yeah.
a Running Man-esque. What? That would
Yeah.
be
And then the
awesome.
Powerpuff Girls come in to fight him.
I hate
No, what the
You just ruined it. Totally ruined
made
our
it the worst thing
sweat.
ever. Great job.
That's the Mojo we're talking about.
Nope.
No? Okay.
Not that Mojo.
Next question.
Can we fire
Flitz.
you? I like the host from last week's episode.
Oh, yeah, maybe we can bring him back sometime. No, we killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Flitz, @Broadway Loser, how do you think the VR aspect of the new Portal game will add to the overall experience of Portal?
I feel like it's going to definitely challenge people's problem-solving abilities on a much larger scale than anyone even thought they'd be playing on. People will probably get over their fear of falling in heights over and
Or it'll
over
heighten
again.
it.
People will
Right.
likely
Have a
be
heart attack and die.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for.
that's-
First VR
but-
death.
And if there is a VR death, I mean, we've had MMO deaths, we've had all sorts of other video game deaths. It wouldn't be a surprise. Darwinism is a thing somewhere,
Hold on,
somehow.
that's kind of unfair to say Darwinism when it's a physics-based game, which is actually really tapping into velocity,
I
trajectory.
think it's perspective.
Yeah, you deserve to die because you tried to science.
I'm not saying they
Perception.
deserve
Are you just
to
naming
die.
Flash enemies
I'm
and other
saying
speedsters?
I'm saying just like
If you're stupid enough to have a heart attack based on nothing.
or if basically,
Or will
if
people
you're-
in real
you're
life
s-
just run off bridges now? If I could do it on the game.
But
You
again,
know,
that's idiot. You can't. I mean, we're not gonna.
Well,
all
technically,
be
to step
idiots.
away
We're
from
not all
the
those
Darwinism
people, like-
of it, you can just get like, I have uncontrollable amounts of anxiety when I get into water. It's just my brain creates it, so it's not necessarily I'm weak. It's just my brain is like, no.
you're
Your,
weak.
your body can't handle a certain type of thing. It shuts down. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's like a choice. It's just one of those things as we exist in a world of life and death.
But in short, you're saying that it could help.
I believe it. I believe in VR. Oh no! What was the question? Because I believe in. I believe in VR and I think I just talked Maud's ear off about this. Video games as tools, and VR is already been proven to help. In Japan, they have things where you can walk over planks and get
Save a
over your
cat.
fear of height and
Yeah.
save a cat. So that is where it's a healing tool. People are going to have their fears, and people may die of a heart attack. If you do.
Well, we got too many people in the world.
You
That's
get a
gotta
warning
happen.
list. People die of cigarettes, but they still sell them, and people are like.
I have actually a real fear of free falling.
So and
playing this
it will
game.
help you get over it. That's the thing, because I've hidden like from aliens and run through dark hallways and faced so many of my fears that when it translates
When
into real
aliens do
life,
attack, you'll be ready.
well, it will be some sort of familiar.
Well, you'll be used to sitting. How come I can't? I have to run with the gun?
Well, and that's
it's a
the thing about
controller.
the Vive, and that's the amazing thing about the Vive, because the games we've been playing, and they've been so amazing, and I feel like that's what is exciting, because the rooms the Imaginariums are real, and we can now play in our imaginations and then apply it way
Dr.
faster.
Parnassus. Well, I'll put you on the spot. You're playing a VR game and you're covered in cockroaches, and you look down at your hands, you're covered in cockroaches.
I'm gonna, if I can feel it, and I feel like there's a way. If the
tingler.
I understand.
Cockroaches are all
I
around
understand
you.
my fear of cockroaches is just that they can't hurt me. But I saw like horror picture show or whatever, and they crawled out of a dude's creep show, and they crawled out of a dude's throat, and that scarred me for life. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom sounds like
All
fortune
over you.
cookie,
Yeah.
scarred me for life. That is where that comes from. I understand the source, and that's why it creeps me out. But I'm sure it's something I could get over.
You
if
know
you
what's
put a headset
the
on me.
scariest thing about VR is they're going to start using this as like, army torture.
Yeah.
We can waterboard you, but in VR. So it's like
It's not really happening.
Yeah, it's not
But
really.
is it?
And so that's the scariest application to any technology is when you instantly flip and you're like, they're doing that.
torture.
Yeah.
Well, I want the opposite. I want like, what's our modern Last Starfighter with VR? Because there's so many games that you can play where you're like, I'm literally in space shooting
Yeah.
other spaceships
it's
and
amazing.
coming up with strategy and tactics.
Reboot
That's
the
what I
Last
want.
And
Starfighter.
you get enlisted.
We're calling
Exactly.
it.
Yeah,
here.
I want to high score something, and then I get beamed down. They're like, all right, well, you did
You've
it.
got to save the world.
Go watch Last Starfighter if you haven't. You'll
It's
kind of love
fun.
it.
About video games.
Or just read Armada because it's the same story.
Same thing, but involves reading. Next question. This one's from Lester's twin. That's just an interesting name. If you could pick one video game to be in, which would you choose and
Me?
why, Mod?
Just one. I'm going to pick the video game that made me a gamer.
God.
And instead of going, I wish. Instead of going futuristic with guns and explosions and warfare, I'm actually going to go back to Hyrule.
Oh,
And I'm going to probably be in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Be Zelda.
Well, I mean,
The boy? Zelda?
Yeah, the boy.
he runs.
I can see
it.
Mod
I just think that land is so beautiful and wonderful, and it's like lush green lands, but never in extreme amounts of danger. There's no horror things. There's no giant cockroaches. There's no free falling. It's kind of
Yeah,
There's
they're
definitely-
spoopy skeletons.
it's kind of
Very
safe
spooky.
though.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
During
those
the
things that jump
daytime.
on you and they're like, and they suck all your life out.
dudes.
Men.
No, they're
a lot of guys
lovely-
pay for that.
Like we went to the same spot.
I want to go to Knights of the Old Republic and like be on Korriban. I mean, that was just, I don't know if I'd want to live there, but it'd be like, I was like, that's the game that got me back into playing games as an
Get
adult.
off your MMO and do another Knights of
Knights of the
Yeah,
Old Republic.
they're
I
working
think that
on
was
it.
actually just released on.
Bioware.
Yeah, so you can get on your cell phone now. Go do that.
Yeah, you can get it on your iPad. I think that's been out for about a year and a half.
KOTOR.
It's terrible on the iPad. Get it back on.
That's
Steam
what I
or
heard, but they're
Mac.
actually doing an official, BioWare is doing an official new.
And a
Knights of
fan
the
is
Old.
updating one.
Yeah,
The
you're right.
graphics on the
Oh,
old
really?
That was a
ones,
lot
yeah.
of fun.
And then to wrap up lightning round, because the fastest segment here on Unpopular Kids, we have for Matt Robb at ZachB146.
Zachy B.
What do you think about modern TV? Do you think the
Wow.
TV today has become repetitive?
Do you think that the TV.
the TV.
My TV has become
As
repetitive.
a
It's just the
person who
same
came from the
shows.
age when there were, 3 to 6 channels and watching
Yeah, thanks.
You had one of those turn dials?
In my day, there,
Oh, Johnny Carson's back on.
there were radio dials.
That's right. You could just listen to things and imagine.
We talked about this a little last week with VR and video games kind of jumping into the storytelling universe. I think that it's is it repetitive? 100%. There are what 6 Law and Orders and CSIs and shit on the air.
There's never enough
Yeah,
procedurals.
yeah, we need more. The fact that you're calling them procedurals and that is a genre, not a joking genre. Yes, TV is repetitive. Yes, it is boring. Yes, there are ways that are that they're trying to traverse the humdrum of what we see on basic cable. But with that, I think that more business partnerships like what Warner Brothers and CW are doing, with what ABC, Disney, and Marvel are doing, I think
don't
that it's
exclude the TV and video game crossover as well, like Quantum
exactly,
Break.
exactly. Yeah, the fact that you can have a crossover like that, and I think Sci-Fi tried it also. Didn't really
with
work.
Rift?
Defiant.
Defiance.
Yeah.
Defiance.
I think
Really hard video game.
I
Yeah.
downloaded it. I didn't play it.
Yeah.
Might I argue with you and say
Yeah.
it's not repetitive because of what we're in, the world we're in now is like because of Netflix and now Amazon and Hulu, they've kind of changed the entire game.
100%.
There's something for
And we have,
Well, there's
and
gems
also-
out there for
well, we
sure.
also have a lot of foreign films and foreign television shows.
Yes.
Like I just watched Happy Valley,
Yep.
which is incredible, and that's technically a procedural, but it's an English procedural with a female lead sergeant.
that
It's
one.
incredible. We've got so many different series. Daredevil.
But the problem is, see, that's the thing that a lot of people. And this is
Baskets.
I'm guilty of this. I love baskets. I'm guilty of this, but I think when I hear TV, I think
ABC, CBS.
CBS.
I don't anymore. That's why. I mean,
That's the tough
granted,
part.
like
Well,
we're a
is
little older
Netflix
than like
television?
some people never had. I had to get up as a kid and
Right.
change the
Yeah.
channel to watch.
My little brother
Batman.
wrapped in
Yeah.
tinfoil on top of the TV. Yeah. I mean, that's the problem. Is that I'm the same mentality as everyone else, where it's like, no, TV is TV, and what you're watching is internet comedy or internet Netflix.
Right,
or
now it's
Amazon.
all the same.
And
it's
it's
actually
media.
kind of awesome.
That's what's frustrating. Is I feel like we need a new term. We've in the YouTube space come up with new media in the last 10 years, which when I first heard it was like new media, that's stupid. Now it's literally a thing. I think we need a term. I think it needs to be all
I
encompassing.
think it is new media, and the idea of the word TV and what used to represent ABC, which is now Freeform, they're all changing their
Yeah.
tune as well as their name, because what that is not going to exist in the next 5 years, and everything that we are right now on the internet is what it is.
Right.
Everything that will be streaming is like the basic idea of
On
television
our
is
level.
over.
Get on our level. This is media.
We want convenience. We don't want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
I should have got out of bed today. So that wraps up lightning round. Good answers from everyone. Great questions from you guys. Remember, we will answer your questions if you tweet them or leave the comment below using the hashtag UnpopularKids. When we'll divvy them out, just like you just saw. But now it's time to get down to business.
Business?
Business. The business. That business is Marvel Phase 3 is kind of just started. They had the premiere for Civil War, Captain America
night?
3, Civil War.
Last week.
Which some of the people at this desk were at. Some people saw it at press screenings. I was not any of those people.
No,
Yeah.
we were next to it.
Yeah, we were next
We
to
were
it.
next to it.
It's just
Oh, that's
cool by
right. I saw
association.
you guys. That was
I saw
awkward.
you guys. That's
Yeah,
why I'm
that's
not
right.
That was for the premiere of Jungle Book.
Oh, nice.
Which I
that's
totally
right.
also
Yeah.
saw, whatever. But Civil War
We were
was,
there the next day too.
a Civil War. Jungle Book was fun, wasn't it?
I liked it.
I liked
it.
Jungle
The
Book.
wolf that talks.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, where do you want to go?
I
don't know.
want a Chris Walken monkey.
Oh my god.
I thought they
I
could've-
That's the
see that
highlight
tonight.
of the movie for
It
me.
really
Oh,
was.
hands
Oh,
down.
really? That was a low light for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I couldn't break that it was
I
Christopher
couldn't
Walken.
stop laughing.
Oh, it was so funny.
okay,
With the
video
little
review.
tiny monkeys constantly
Yeah.
cleaning and like foraging around.
I just imagined that like Christopher Walken was like in the booth, and they're like, "All right, dude, we aren't going to sing the song. We're just going to say the lines." And I could just see him just start to get into
Yo,
it
yo,
and just
yo,
start
yo.
singing
Let him
it.
be like, yo, yo, yo.
It's like, no, stop singing. Never mind. Just let him do it.
Yeah,
Let
do
him
it.
Stop singing. Stop.
But
Marvel.
yes, Disney has a different movie, Civil War, and that is starting Marvel Phase 3. And this phase of Marvel movies has the most amount of movies in one batch. We have Civil War. We have Doctor Strange this month. Which one?
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Homecoming
Thor
is part of it.
Ragnarok.
Yes. We also have Black Panther. Both Avenger movies, Infinity
Guardians
Wars
of the
Part 1 and Part
Galaxy
2, Guardians,
And
Starring Sylvester
Ant-Man and the
Stallone.
Wasp.
Ant-Man and
Did
the
they
Wasp,
push
and
humans?
Power Girl. Wait, did I just
you
name
say
11 movies?
Power Girl?
No,
No,
Not Power Girl.
Captain
Whoa,
Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's 10 movies.
Same.
That's in what set?
Phase 3.
5 years.
10
That's-
movies.
4 years.
Wait, is that 11 or is
That's
it
10.
10 movies.
I
10
counted 10.
movies. Okay. I can't count. He can count.
Too many.
There's a lot.
Too many. Split it
Yeah.
up. Split it
I'd
up.
say it's too little.
Really? You want more?
You know what? We were talking on our show Movie Talk a couple days ago, and we were saying like the movies are now almost like a very expanded TV series.
Yeah.
It's like because everything weaves
right.
together, and it's sort of like it is kind of like you only have to wait like 4 months to see like another $100 million episode.
I compared it to trades.
Yeah.
Reading
Yeah.
trades.
It's definitely like that.
Yeah. But at the same time, that's kind of take a step out of the meta there. Like, who cares if there is 10 movies part of the meta or of the phase? Because again, it's literally just is every 4 months there's just another Marvel movie.
Bit of something else, yeah.
Well, what's interesting is it's now because there's 10, we have scope, right? You've got your Avengers, and then you've got your Black Panther, Doctor
Standalone.
Strange, right? Which are kind of like, I bet the studio doesn't see them as these standalone little movies because they're putting the same amount of energy and effort into it. But we're going to look at them as that, and they may be an outlier. It may be another Guardians of the Galaxy where it matches Avengers in terms of box office budget.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, that's what's scary, right? Is like these movies that are in theory supposed to be like small standalone movies. Like Doctor Strange looks like it could be like an amazing movie.
Yeah.
Based off of a teaser trailer.
That's not well. It doesn't have to be.
No.
But Matt, it's so big.
Okay, it's gonna be great for you because you're a space
But
wizard.
no, but it's also it has to be gigantic.
Well, it doesn't have to be gigantic. It's about one character entering this new world.
That's what Ant-Man
but that's
did.
what I mean
Yeah.
because it's establishing a new universe.
I'm just
It's
saying, he's saying
magical
like as
universe.
big as the Avengers. where
right,
it's
that's
like
what
a
in
million
terms of
characters.
scope of like this is like everyone needs to pay attention to this
It's
movie. It's like,
earth-shattering, like the world will die.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't be like the world is threatened. You never know.
That's
Maybe
why I was
it will
excited
be.
about Ant-Man because it's like they weren't trying to compete with these big
Right.
combinations, group form up together. It was like one small problem with one little guy buggering up with technology, and it's up to him just to save that because it's huge in his world, but not in the scope of things.
buggering up the technology.
Because he's a bug.
Because he's an ant.
It was an accident.
Wait, there it is. But with these 10 movies, I really want to look at like how they're all going to add to the Marvel equation. Like it kind of starts off with an Avenger movie and it'll end with the final Avenger movie. Which one of the 10 movies do we think is going to have like the most impact? Are we going to have like, is it one giant story arc? Are we going to see like mini story arcs in the movies? Which one is going to have the most impact, I think, on the Marvel industry?
Civil
Impact.
War, honestly. I
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
Civil War is literally creating a split in the universe, right? From what I've seen, you guys have seen it. From what I've seen, it's split.
No spoilers.
I'm not even making a face.
Yeah.
Which is odd for you. Yeah, no, there it is. I only saw half your face.
That's a weird face you're making. You're making a face.
She's making the face that Hulk's in the movie.
He's made a spoiler face.
Spoiler face.
Spider-Man's in the movie.
Spoiler. Spoiler. Yeah.
But that's what's interesting to me is like I feel like they're creating. Whereas like I feel like First Avenger set it all up for not First Avenger set it all up for phase one. Avengers ended it, right? Whereas I feel like to a degree, Winter Soldier set up phase two. Avengers was an end to it, right?
Avengers: Age of Ultron. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Civil War, without giving away anything. Sorry, Lobo. It's setting things up and it's tearing things apart at the same time. So I think Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be its own adventure.
Yeah.
I think Black Panther, Civil War does an incredible job at introducing this amazing character. It does a great job of introducing us to the cinematic Marvel Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I think both of those characters are going to have their own adventure. We already saw Andy Serkis. I believe he's playing Claw. So we saw him introduced in another movie.
Yeah.
They're separate,
Yeah.
but he was getting vibranium, this and that. So I mean, that's
Nice little tie-in.
That's what
He is a
helps.
planet.
Does it fit? I just don't. Claw, right? He like
Claw.
has the power of vibrations.
No, his
like
hand.
It's a hand
It's a
claw.
hand
You'll-
thing.
Yeah,
you'll
it's
see.
you'll see. He got his hand ripped off, so he's
Remember
going to have a
Ultron
claw.
ripped his hand off?
Kind of like what.
Oh, okay,
Soldier.
He's got a
Yeah.
little thing like this, like it's a what? It's a claw. I don't know if it's
Robot Reddington
Yeah.
ripped his hand
The
off.
claw is our friend. Anyway, little Toy Story reference.
I like that. Claw.
So
You're
yeah,
scared of the claw.
So yeah, I mean, I think all the films as they're like slowly they'll introduce all the characters, but I don't think they're gonna. You don't have to have seen all the other films. Like you don't even have to have seen any of the other films to enjoy Civil War.
Wow.
Because
Well, that's
they did a
definitely something
great
Marvel
job
needs
at
to do.
storytelling. So they set it up for the general viewer. Like if I don't know anything else about this. this is happening. These people are at war with this because of this, and then the movie goes and it has an ending, and it's not reliant on all the other films.
Funny, because there's another company that made a big comic book movie, and you kind of needed to know a lot, yet this is the first goddamn movie in their entire series.
I was going to say, like, yeah, so what Marvel's doing, and the reason why Phase 3 is going to go so well for them is because internally, inside the movie, they've got the character developments, they've got a really, really good story, they've set a lot of things up, you get really, really excited, they've done a good job with that. Externally, outside of what the movie is, they were kind of put up against DC, and it was like, one's bringing it to the team, the other one's like, let's do this. They're both versus movies. Who's done it right? Marvel swept it clean.
Yeah.
So I think in every capacity, this being their first sort of like Phase 3 movie has just not only divided the comic
Have
book
they
fan.
set the bar too high though?
No, not at all. You know what's very fun about the Civil War film is it's all about characters and it's all about relationships.
Yep.
And you know what's interesting is even in the marketing, like they have Batman facing Superman, but in this you have like 10 different characters that we all know facing each other.
Kind of like what made X-Men the cartoons great.
Yeah, but it really isn't like that. I mean, they're doing that as far as like for the promotions, but it's like it's such an emotional film because it's like if you have an argument with your friend and there's another friend, the other friend is like, I see both of your sides, but now you have to choose, and you're like, it's
and there are major consequences.
Yeah, and that's
help
what
or
I mean.
don't.
That I felt was missing from Batman v Superman was any emotion. Yes. Like I didn't care at the end of that film if they fought Doomsday or not. Sorry, you should have seen the film by now, right?
Or
It's
just not seen it.
Or
Well,
just
it
not
was in
seen
the
it,
trailer.
But I mean, and also everything you saw in the trailers of Batman v Superman, almost every action scene there's nothing new in the movie.
Right.
Whereas in Civil War, you've only seen like 1%.
We've seen Vision in a cardigan.
Yeah,
That's all I
Vision in a
needed.
cardigan.
I'm just
I didn't
saying,
see
there's
that.
so
I
much
saw-
action in this film that is not seen in the trailer.
true.
That's such an exciting movie.
And there are moments that I think we've even kind of telegraphed, like, oh man, there's got to be like this, which I don't even want to say because I want to look at either of you, which I'm assuming is in the movie, but we have not even seen any part of it.
I'll look away if it's in the movie. Tell me.
Giant Man.
Oh, son of a bitch! I closed my eyes.
I don't know anything.
Wait, I was talking about Goliath.
I don't know.
I was thinking
No,
about
no,
All right, let's
Goliath.
talk about another movie. Let's talk about another movie. Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok. Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
Slash Planet Hulk.
Planet Hulk. All right, I think that movie is going to. I have not liked the first two Thor movies. I thought they were boring. I thought they were formulaic. I don't think they're mainly because the character of Thor is kind of like a Superman character. It's like there's just no like, oh, what's gonna happen? Oh,
Yeah,
he's
but
gonna
it's
win.
Chris Hemsworth, and he's holding a hammer with
Yeah,
his
so
own
anytime he
arm.
takes off his shirt, it's great.
He's so
But when you
handsome.
put Thor and Hulk together, it's gonna be like I'm hoping just a great buddy cop movie.
Fuck.
And it'll be wonderful for it.
Thulk.
That's your
Or
ship
just
name.
Thor.
He's
Thor. There you go. I'm definitely Team Whore.
I'm angry. He's just holding his cock.
Well, that's fun because I didn't realize because and me catching up on all the Marvel stuff, the new Secret Wars planet Hulk, it starts off with Thor. And I'm now more excited to read it because I feel like it'll give me a little more insight on what might actually happen.
Do you think we'll get Billy Ray Cyrus in
Yep. Achy Breaky Heart.
Stop it.
Billy Ray?
No.
What's
Come on, I'm gonna let you get there.
you breaking your heart?
Billy Ray
Nope,
Horseface?
not Billy Ray.
It's not Billy Ray.
Bill.
Beta Ray
Bill.
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Oh, Billy Ray Cyrus.
I don't know what he's saying. What's going on?
Beta Ray Bill?
Yeah,
Beta Ray Bill.
Do we think we'll have him in Ragnarok? Because
Well, so if you look at a Venn diagram of like Guardians of the Galaxy in the world that they're creating and Thor in the world that they're creating, Beta Ray Bill's here.
Beta Ray
right?
Bill.
Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill.
I like saying the name.
Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Ray Bill.
And for those who don't know who Beta Ray Bill is, he's an alien who is also a pilot. It's kind of like this weird, like Green Lantern Corps version of Thor.
Well, he fought Thor and
Yeah.
won, and so Odin gave him the
He
power
gave him
of
his own Thor, yeah.
And so
He's
Thor
worthy.
was like kind of banished and like butthurt for a little, like about
Yeah.
3 or 4 episodes,
And
then,
Thor would throw up that.
and then they
Hey,
teamed
hey,
up. But then
It's a
they
sore
teamed
spot.
up. Odin gave Beta Ray Bill his own hammer, and then they teamed up and fought a bunch of demons.
Yep.
And they fought Surtur, and that was awesome.
Yep.
So that's going to be the common denominator between another movie, because I know that what they're doing here, as we've just discussed with Claw, is that they're using one character, planting them in, and they will be the combining force, which I think is really clever.
Which I think that's what they're doing with Bilbo in Civil War.
Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah,
Freeman.
nah, well, who knows? Can't talk
And
about
then
spoilers,
Avengers
but
Pets in
very
2020.
tiny role.
Got it.
Well,
But like Benedict Cumberbatch,
Bumble Batch.
it's a UK person pretending to be an American.
Yes.
Yeah,
Did you notice that? Like, if you shut your
Weird.
if you shut your eyes during the Doctor Strange trailer, it sounds like you're watching an episode of House.
Yeah, you know
Oh
what's
my God!
weird?
You know, Holly was saying his R's are weird. He was doing
Hugh
something
Laurie,
weird with
it's
his
like
R's.
the same thing.
I've been excited. I loved Cumberbatch as casting. I was like all about this. For some reason, it never clicked with me that they were going to give him an American accent.
Oh, I didn't even think of that either.
I was
thought
like,
he was
oh, it's
gonna
like
be-
just because Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah, just let him be Benedict
let him be
Cumberbatch.
British.
I
Half
love
of
his voice.
Benedict Cumberbatch is the
Doctor.
voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that they always cast doctors as either British people or
They are sophisticated
Australian.
and
Smart
intelligent.
stereotypes.
Yeah,
They
Seth
talk-
Rogen for Doctor Who. Come on, guys, let's make it happen. Really.
Are we excited about Thor?
I'm the doctor.
Yeah, my TARDIS is big on the inside. Smoke weed.
Imagine him and a companion. I'm the Doctor. Who? Yeah, the Doctor. Who? Yeah, the Doctor.
So Seth Rogen
Rogen on
and
That's a horrible impression, but I like
I
it.
know.
It's more of like a.
you were saying, Mod.
Are we excited about Thor Ragnarok? Because initially, when you watched Age of Ultron, his scenes were the weakest parts.
Well, because
felt.
they were
You didn't
they
like
were
the
misplaced.
hot tub Thor
Hot
machine
tub
or whatever. What's going on?
I mean, if I had it in slow-mo with more water.
They were the weakest parts of those movies. They were the weakest parts of the movies, but I think it's because in that movie they were just misplaced. It was like, why are we doing this right now? It was the problem with Batman versus Superman was like, wait, there's some cool other stuff in the movie, but it just doesn't belong in this movie.
Yeah, right.
So I think that was that issue. Whereas Ragnarok Ragnarok
I said
for the Norse is like the end of their world. So it's such a large scale, and that's why I think we're going to see Beta Ray Bill.
You're good.
Really well.
You're doing great, buddy.
It's got a weird name. And I think we're going to see like everyone come together, and that's going to open up like a whole new story because you have like Guardians, a part of the Marvel universe, but away from the Marvel universe.
wondering-
Sylvester Stallone is Beta Ray Bill.
That would be.
He's
insane.
already rumored to be in Guardians too.
If they make,
There's a lot.
if
It's
Beta
too
Ray,
much to put him in the movie. He's
Yeah.
not going to be. They won't introduce Beta Ray Bill. They've got a Hulk, so he's basically going to be the Beta Ray Bill
Sure.
of this film. I'm guessing, and also if they're going to do Ragnarok, they have to be able to introduce
Ragnarok.
Hela,
Yeah.
teaming up with Loki to bring about death, and awakening Surtur to pull the sword
Yep.
to create
That's gonna be a lot.
Ragnarok.
I'm
So you
wondering
have
if
to
he's
do all
gonna
this
lose
kind
his
of.
hammer and get Yarnborn.
Hela takes the hammer.
Yarnburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is he gonna have to use Yarnbjorn?
Young.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
We'll see what happens, but I think Thor will end up being that Beta Ray Bill.
Okay,
Do you know
what-
my actual fear about Thor is that Chris Hemsworth, I think,
Won't
is
take his shirt off?
He took his shirt off for 7 whole seconds in one of the movies.
She was counting.
But I think
Tall,
that
blonde Australians.
He as an actor is like, I want to be doing something more than holding this hammer, and I
Yeah.
think that hopefully his passion will resonate with because he's getting paid millions of dollars, which is like what we've seen with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to keep playing Iron Man, but they gave him $40 million, and he goes, you know what? Sure, let's do it.
But that's why I said because the axe is would be a fun
You
change.
can't do that because he's in Huntsman and he has an axe there.
yeah, and you know
He
what?
has 2 axes. though.
Unfortunately,
That's not
Huntsman
the
is
same
like
armor.
even like seeing that trailer. I was like, that's like a weak Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I fear for him after Thor. You know, because like
Poor
Black
Thor.
Hat and all of his other films are just like no one is really
cares?
I
responding
liked
to
him
that.
in
Yeah.
Drive. Was it Drive?
A lot of people said he was Rush is what it was called. Yeah.
Rush.
He should
Drive
just do
is
what-
the Ryan Gosling.
See what Taylor Lautner's doing.
it.
Just
Nothing?
do comedy. No, he's on Netflix. He's doing
No,
like all
he's
these
really
Netflix
he's
comedies.
funny. He was like
Yeah.
Vacation was a horrible film. That's why I'm frightened of Spider-Man because it's those 2 writers who are writing the Spider-Man movie. And Vacation, the new reboot, was literally one of the worst films I saw
It's
last year.
from Freaks and Geeks.
I know, I like
the
the
kids
guy.
from Freaks
I
and
think
Geeks,
he's
yeah.
great as an actor, but it's like horrible
Yeah.
film. And they wrote and directed it, so there's really kind of no excuse. I can't feel like I want to give them a break. It was a
Right.
horrible movie, but Thor, Chris Hemsworth was one of the funny small moments.
True. And he's also going to be in Ghostbusters. He's trying out the comedy chops. He was kind of really good on SNL, considering. Like I really appreciate what
sure.
he was able to pull off. So maybe he could dive into comedy.
I think so.
I think it's a lot easier for action stars to be like, I want to do comedy now.
Look at Channing Tatum.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Versus what the formula was forever, which was like I'm an action star. Now I'm going to do a family film,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Now it's kind of the comedy thing. Yeah, exactly. I think now the comedy thing because like we as an audience really appreciate that kind of bleed through, and I think there's room for him to do that.
Totally.
What about another? Everyone wants it, and we get it next year. Phase 3, Spider-Man: Homecoming. First of all, the name Homecoming. What a giant, just like fu to Sony, where it's like, yeah, it's Homecoming. It's Spider-Man coming back to Marvel. Like,
think it's a giant FU. I think based on the script, in hearing it,
script?
yeah, I read 6 scripts. No, I think it's probably based on the story of the script. I'm sure they just didn't let's call it Homecoming and then figure out the story.
Right.
Like I'm
Figure
sure
it out later. Yeah.
I honestly, when I heard it, I immediately had.
Which Homecoming, though, of the comics? Is it issue 252,
yeah.
1984, that Homecoming?
Yeah, that one.
Where they formally introduced these symbiotes?
See, so now Darth Sidious is different than Palpatine. They're
I
technically
will
the same
fight
person.
She's got the gems.
But the moment I heard that, the first thing that came to mind was kind of Buffy, which was like she's a superhero in high school, and literally that scope of your world comes to an end. And in high school, and it's a dance, and I love the concept of
yes.
Spider-Man and Peter Parker having that duality
really
of something
seeing
like
the
Homecoming.
duality.
Yeah, I
We've
think
never seen that on camera.
I would love to be able to see something like that and have him have that moment where he's literally coming to terms with being a superhero, but also being a high school kid in New
He's
York.
a young kid. He's like in real life, he's like 18 or
yeah,
something.
I think he's playing 16 in the
so
movie.
I mean, literally,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool because if you like
looks
those
like
Man, I hope they've
Spider-Mans-
contracted him up for 10 years.
They would have.
They've got him locked down. It's
Yeah.
but the sooner they shoot these films and the more they introduce this new Spider-Man, and we get to see him in high school for more than one film. And
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea. And I heard that they were, Feige was trying to maybe go the Ferris Bueller's Day Off approach by having him break the fourth wall, similar to Deadpool.
That'd be great.
100%
That's what
into
they do in
that.
the cartoon.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It will work so well with
Yeah.
this. And I'm
such a-
hoping they do that.
Such a small thing, and I think it's really going to set the tone of the movie, is that Spider-Man logo that they announced recently. And you look at every other Marvel Phase 3 title, it's got the big letters, it
all
looks
metal,
epic and metal.
shiny.
Yeah,
And this
that's
is
the trend.
straight out of the comics,
Yeah.
thin, wiry letters. It's bright,
Cartoony.
it's fun.
Yeah.
I'm it's gonna be Spider-Man.
I am worried about the fourth wall thing because it works for Deadpool because Deadpool's an isolated incident. But if you take a character, any character from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you give them that ability to break the fourth wall, you're
How do you
kind
come
of
back from that?
you're kind of expected to do
What
that
if
in
it's
other movies.
what if it's not as
It's-
direct though?
It's I don't think it's gonna. He's fighting Green Goblin. He's like, hey, this is hard.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be more like he's telling you, like he's narrating.
He's telling
Yeah,
the story.
he's
he's done in
talking to
many of the
himself
comic books.
almost.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think that approach, if they do it that way, it'll work seamlessly.
Yeah, I'm excited.
What about some of the movies that we haven't seen anything from him? Black Panther obviously was in Civil War, but he's got his own movie. Which for Black Panther, I was like, all right, we'll see what we get.
I'll say this: you guys will love Black Panther, and you will love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
What the Russo brothers did, because those guys are both comic nerds, which is so much fun. They basically have the keys to the kingdom. That's why they were
They
like,
are dangling
we've
them.
got to.
Yeah.
What can we do with this? They were just having so much fun, and it's all on screen.
They're
So
like, hey, corpse of Joss Whedon, what should we do? He's like, I'm too old.
No, they didn't need him.
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
they got their own ideas. And you know
Yeah.
what? The great thing about Black Panther is they get the chance to introduce him, and they spend enough time with that character that you feel like
You know what
you
he's
know
about.
you know what he's about and what's going to happen in the future. You can't wait to see it.
And I won't spoil anything because it is kind of in the trailer. What's great about Black Panther and will be refreshing is his fighting style.
Yes.
Oh, it
Yes.
is just
Farrell, is he an animal?
cat-like.
Well, there was
It is sexy. It is really great, but it changes things up big time. I mean, I was a little bit worried when they were saying we're introducing Black Panther, and then I saw his costume, and I was like, okay, he looks like a Power Ranger, and people are going to call him a pussy because he's basically asking for it because he's a cat.
I see what you did there,
will
pussy.
not. There is absolutely no way
not as
anyone
good as
will say
bugger.
that. It's actually the puns I don't mean to do
Yeah,
that are my
those
best
are the
ones.
best. Those are the best.
But he's so great. He's so fierce. This actor's going to do a really, really great job with this character. And yeah, if you don't find yourself going, sign me up for the standalone after.
he's a fearsome force in this film. When every time
there's
he
a
shows
moment
up, you're like, what's
yeah,
going
there's a moment in the trailer where it's so brief, but he latches onto Captain America and the shield, and at that moment I was like, that dude's gonna be badass.
Well,
His movie's gonna
yeah,
be great.
The shield is vibranium, and his outfit is made of vibranium. They show you in the trailer. There's a helicopter comes around a corner, and he just he doesn't even do anything but just turn around and look at it as well.
Pow, pow,
Bullets.
pow, pow, pow.
Well,
It's
and,
so
that's, and that's
badass.
why it's so exciting because I don't think a lot of people, if you look at Black Panther, especially in his comic book art, it's like, oh, it's just a dude in a suit. But to have this established in a more reasonable or logical way, the fact that he's wearing a vibranium laced suit, vibranium absorbs all sorts of force, but he also makes him super strong because that force has to be released in some way, shape, or form.
Well, they've had that in the comic recently. The last
Yeah.
5 or 10 years, they've had him with a vibranium.
But
suit.
then it's another, as they're trying to take it worldly, it's going to be fun to see a more established Wakanda, you know, and because I've only ever gotten to imagine it and see it through. So it's going to be fun to see it on a larger scale in
And
motion.
what I like about it as well, I know that we've got a cyborg for DC, and it's kind of like introducing that character, which I think will be great. But now that we've got Black Panther, and in the Netflix series, there's Luke Cage as well. I think it's like a really great thing where it's like finally these kids growing up can see
Falcon.
Oh, and Falcon. Thank you.
War
Thank you.
Machine.
He's
He's
great.
not as
And
War
War
Machine.
Machine. But like Marvel's doing.
These two black characters.
Marvel's doing a better job
Yeah.
at kind of, showing
That's
kids
diversity.
that they could, that the hero is an
Yeah.
achievable thing.
And what's interesting is I feel like they saw this coming as a company, Marvel, and that's why a couple years ago, maybe a couple years ago at this point, they really started reaching out in their diversity with Marvel Girl and with all these different characters
Yeah.
where they're like, and now we've got an Indian character, now we've
Yeah.
got a Latino character, Miles
And
Morales.
they're their favorites, and they're favorites.
Yeah.
Like Kamala Khan,
Yeah.
Miss Marvel. People love her, and like we just had it. We did a comic book episode, and it's like, yeah, no, she's really fun. Like
Yeah.
she's really cool.
And I think they kind of saw that. And that's the only thing that I can say. You know, we get called Marvel fanboys, but like, it's foresight. It's having foresight to the point where you don't release your first movie and you have a character from a movie showing up 10 years from now going, am I too early?
Yeah.
What's going on? Yeah.
Don't trust this person.
Yeah.
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
what is going on?
And then the main character wakes up from a dream twice. You're like,
Yeah.
is he still in the dream?
Yeah, the post-credit sequence was another dream.
I know.
That's what's really frustrating is like, it looks like they have so much foresight and they had an idea where, we could have just accepted this as the studio norm, and then you just have a stark comparison of how another company is doing it and kind of failing at it.
Well, I mean, the thing that DC is going to do, word has it, is that Ezra Miller's Flash is going to be homosexual, and I think that they're trying to tackle that side of diversity.
Well, DC's also been on top of that, like, like in the comics, it's a
bottom?
year or two ago with Earth 2, you had like one of the Green Lanterns, they had like the gay marriage, but that was also the same time as the Marvel gay marriage, wasn't it?
Well, a lot of that was all like, just like, who are we going to get next to be gay? Like North Star
Rawhide
was gay.
Kid.
Been gay.
I know Alpha Flight, they already had a bunch of gay. Then
Yeah.
Green Lantern was gay, the whole bunch of, but
Yeah.
he's not the official Green Lantern, it's the other alternate.
Earth 2.
The Earth
Yeah,
2
yeah,
guy.
He's a Rainbow Lantern, we
And
promise.
an entrepreneur.
But you know what? I'm more interested with the Flash. I hope they just go right hardcore into Crisis, like where that Flash is traveling to different worlds. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, where we say how much that Marvel's doing right, well, I think something that they might even see a mistake on their hands is Inhumans. This was delayed recently. It doesn't seem
My
like
conspiracy theory.
it almost seems like they don't know where Inhumans
My
fits.
conspiracy theory is that Inhumans was announced shortly after they started talks with Sony about the Marvel or the Spider-Man split.
Right.
My conspiracy theory is the reason why they pushed it off so far. It's not an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Inhumans world. I feel like this is a placeholder for their X-Men movie that they're just like,
They're trying to get it back?
We're gonna
Are
do
you
the
gonna-
Sony split and see how it goes, and then another company.
And
may
when
jump in.
Sony
I got
sees
one
that,
better for you. I
Yeah.
think they're getting Fantastic Four back. And that they're going to introduce the
Inhumans
Inhumans
in
in
Fantastic
Fantastic
Four?
Four.
Wow.
Because it's like, that's that kind of thing where I think Fox has seen what Sony and Marvel are doing, and they're like, look, we want to have toys with our X-Men. Can we, let's make a deal?
That's what
We
I'm saying.
screwed-
So you're
we
saying
screwed
that-
the pooch so many bad times. But they're not going to, Fox will never give X-Men back to Marvel. But what they will do is do a trade. You could have Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom and
We tried.
Galactus.
We fucked it
We
up.
screwed that up so many times. But we'll give you that as long as you let us take two of your characters and put them in the Marvel. Do some kind of trade.
Well, that seems kind of like what they're doing with the Sony thing, right? They're absorbing production costs, whereas Sony gets to reap the benefits of all the merch, right?
Right.
And anybody that knows anything knows these movies don't make their money in box office; they make their money in merch.
Merch.
Yes.
Merchandising.
Which I would say if Marvel thought about it and they do get Fantastic Four back, or even certain characters, make a future Foundation movie.
That's so far. I feel like,
Muzzles. Marvel Phase 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but that's what that's honestly what I'm hoping
So
for.
3 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is for nothing?
Well, here's the problem, and this is the biggest issue: is hashtag it's all
introducing
connected.
humans.
Hashtag it's all connected. The fact that they were like, guys, the movies and the TV shows, it's all one thing, and then Feige and Loeb and everyone kind of split off and did their own thing,
Perlmutter,
and even Loeb with the Netflix stuff, and it's like they're like, yeah, it's all connected, and that's the problem. Is like they touted this as this was the first time you've ever seen anything like this, and now they're kind of like, well, it doesn't
Is
really.
this ship getting too big?
It's massive.
Yeah.
It's massive, and I think that they probably saw that there was a little too much that they could chew.
And because they are over-promising, they need to over-deliver as well. And I think, DC kind of was just like, no, but we're getting huge A-list stars. We're getting them all together. This is going to be great. And then Justice League, and yeah. And if they've tripped over the first hurdle.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I
They
think
fell off a cliff on the first one. So it's like, honestly,
but then
I'm looking
WB
forward
goes
to
to make-
Wonder Woman. I'm looking forward to
Sure.
Aquaman. I'm not looking forward to Justice League.
No.
Yeah.
So
No.
That sucks. I want it to be.
Before we
Suicide
wrap,
Squad?
Yes.
Yeah?
Very much so.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think that's going to be the big DC hit.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Guardians of the Insane Asylum.
Yeah, well, speaking of Guardians, before we wrap up, any thoughts and opinions on Guardians 2? What we
I'm
can
so
expect?
excited
Is it going to
for it.
have a good impact? Will it do as well as the first one?
I think it'll do better than the first one,
Really?
to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be the Empire Strikes Back of their trilogy.
I'm
And
your
James
father.
Gunn is doing a great
literally.
job at not
Yeah.
connecting it to all the other Marvel worlds. He's like specifically saying, I don't even know if Thanos is going to be in it. So it's just going to be Star-Lord and his dad,
Yeah.
some cool
and his dad is a
adventure.
dick.
So
Well, that's
Just a
that's
giant
actually
dick.
something that kind of bugged me.
Flopping around. Space
What bugged me
dick.
about one of the things that bugged me about Avengers 2 was that the end credit scene with Thanos coming out and saying, "I'll do it myself
Yeah.
in 6 years."
Right.
yeah.
I mean, he's in space. It takes a long time to get places.
Like,
Yeah, just he's been Palpatine in it for too long. He's been like the guy in the back of the shadows doing all these things. It's like, all right, are we gonna pull the trigger on this yet?
and
or-
I don't know if he makes an appearance in Civil War.
No, don't ask them.
I'm putting money down that I feel like we're going to see him in a big way in Ragnarok.
Well, I thought he said that he doesn't really have a big thing until Avengers. Age
In
of
a big
Ultron.
way, I mean,
Well, but-
it'll be the big like
Okay.
what
well,
the
I
fuck.
mean,
Well, is that the movie-
represents death?
Right,
he is-
exactly.
It might
Yeah.
be an interesting way where, because you have so many different characters and all the different Marvels, all their different stories. How many deaths are you going to have that Thanos wants to
you know
hook
what
up
they
with?
could start?
So he can actually
The Black
Thanos.
Cabal.
Yeah, they want. That's
then
what I think
Deadpool's
is.
going to sweep in and steal his lady.
Yeah.
They could start
That's
the Black
not
Cabal.
gonna
I mean, just because I just thought about this because Thanos he is a king of death. Basically, he's in love with. And reading the comic books, he has basically his own team of death. So if he's behind the scenes creating, as there is an Avengers who are protecting in life, he's creating these powerful forces of their enemies of death, and that be
The Abomination,
ultimate-
Red Skull, all the other.
I've rise all my other villains.
I just don't want to see what I don't want to see that they keep doing in the big Marvel movies is like a team of robots where it's if we just reach that switch, all of them will turn off, or like the
Yeah.
Chitauri.
Well, that's
or like
Disney.
I'm hoping
It's
that's
like-
what I don't want to see in Doctor Strange is like all of the mindless ones have been released on in New York, and
mindless
if we
ones.
can only close that dimensional portal, it's just like
yeah.
it just gets boring.
I agree. I think
But
it's,
they're
it
not
is
killing people.
Right, that's the
I
thing.
know.
They're paper
There's
people.
no
which is
collateral damage.
My favorite line in Guardians, they're paper people. You can just rip them apart. They're paper people. They don't count, right? It's the modern equivalent of what the Nazis were in the Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah.
Like they need to find something there that they can just kill. The mindless ones probably, but
Right.
like you need your action
Or
sequences.
just take a little more time and write a better story ending. So I mean, it's like I think that's what they're doing with Infinity Wars Part 1 and 2. I'm looking forward to Captain Marvel. I'm sure they'll have her like Kree origin and
Yeah.
stuff like that, which
Yeah.
is also space
that
cosmic.
opens
Guardians
up
of the Galaxy. We've
Inhumans.
got 4 cosmic movies.
How long
Yeah.
before we get a Power Girl and Huntress and DC's like, yeah, we've got 2? Maybe.
Well, you may see Power Girl on Flash.
I think you might see Birds of Prey before you see any of those characters. 'cause
Yeah.
that's-
The classic
actually,
TV
this
show,
show
by the
back.
way.
Classic,
Yeah.
classic, he says. Well, it seems like for Marvel Phase 3, the big sum up is big promises and big deliveries. Hopefully, it's going to start off strong with Civil War, and it's going to keep on going with the rest of the 10 movies in Phase 3. But again, before we wrap up, I just want to thank our guests for stopping by. Maud, would you like to tell the audience where we can find your stuff?
Hello there, everyone. Yeah, you can find me at Maud Garrett on Twitter, Instagram, all that kind of good stuff. And every day I put a video up on SourceFed Nerd, and including Dungeons and Dragons, guys. I'm bringing it back in a big way.
Bring it back.
I'm the moderator.
I'm just saying if you need a guest.
You're
to play
the
D&D.
moderator.
Yeah.
Moderator.
Moderator.
That's right.
Well
Damn
played.
it, Maud.
And Mr. John Schnepp, where and how can we find your stuff on the internet?
Oh, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram, just at John Schnepp, and check out my Kickstarter. I don't know if this is airing this in the next couple days.
This
or,
is next Friday.
Don't worry about it. I'm taking care of that. But you guys can also always find The Death of Superman Lives by going to tdoslwh.com.
This movie.
It's just The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, and you can
That
rent
right
it
there.
or get the Blu-ray. So I'll see you around.
All right, guys. Well, of course, thank you to Matt Robin Flitz for being being here because I need friends. Guys, we'll see you later. Bye.
Dude, there's this weird scene from Demolition Man
Oh my God.
where Sandra Bullock and Sylvester Stallone are like sitting across from each other having sex in VR.
yeah.
Yeah, why
That
can't we have
tantric.
sex yet?
You try that tantric?
Well, we can have sex right now.
All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison. In reaction to Batman vs. Superman recently, it's this really vibrant,